things. There we go. Alright, game audio is coming in nice. I can't hear the game audio, but you can. Yeah, man, this mic is so much better than my usual mic. I just can't hear the game audio when this mic is plugged in. This is my Blue Yeti, which is what I use to record. I've only used it to stream a few times. Like when I was streaming for my laptop, those few times I did before my laptop stopped being able to stream. But yeah, it is election night. I am still getting set up here. Polls closed on the East Coast about half an hour ago, which is what we're starting now. Yeah, I already had this pulled up. We're going to be streaming for about 4 to 5 hours, I think. And I'm going to be giving commentary on the night's proceedings and give some, like, history on the election, the Electoral College, why it's important, anything that I think of. I should probably mute my laptop, or mute the stream on my laptop. Edit video. Put in Streamlabs. As you can see, we are going to be playing Jurassic World Evolution. I already played on this map a little bit throughout the week. There's no dinosaurs on it. I just wanted to kind of get things mapped out a little bit so we could put some dinos in. Thumbnail. Really proud of this thumbnail, by the way. I haven't put it in yet. Stream thumbnail. Boom. So this doesn't get it like fully demonetized or anything. Probably will. Saving. I have the stream pulled up on my phone. That's what I'll be reading the chats from mostly. I also got NBC pulled up. I have it muted right now, but we'll be mostly listening to their commentary. Even though NBC is super biased, I do find them much more reliable, at least compared to like ABC, CBS, and CNN. They're about on par with Fox News on the whole. They're just slanted to the left to the same extent that Fox is slanted to the right. Trump is ahead in Virginia. Too early to call, though. I actually called this. I actually called Virginia slanting to the right. He's also ahead in Florida by quite a bit. 100,000 votes. 100,000 vote difference in Florida. And I think the 3 electoral votes that they're projecting for Biden right now are from D.C. Yeah, they're projecting Indiana, it looks like, for Trump. North Carolina. Yeah, only 15 votes counted in North Carolina. Trump has 14 of them. Ohio's not reporting yet. So we are going to be keeping an eye on this election, but we're also going to take a few side glances over at the House, So I think that is going to be a much better indicator of really where the country is at. Let's start tweeting this out and stuff. I might be on Discord off and on. I tested it out a little bit, but I don't know if that. I don't even know if that's a good idea. So before we get started with the night's festivities, yeah, it's election night 2020. Donald Trump, former businessman, kind of dark horse candidate, came out of nowhere in 2016, steamrolled in the Republican primaries, was projected to lose the general election against Hillary Clinton, but ended up pulling out a massive upset. Probably the biggest upset in electoral history. Not anywhere near the biggest blowout. That was one thing Trump said throughout the end of 2016. That was just. I don't think he was purposely lying. I think he just didn't know or didn't remember. But there have been some massive blowouts in the Electoral College before. The two that always come to my mind are 1972, Richard Nixon's reelection, and 1984, Ronald Reagan's reelection. But you also have Washington and Monroe, who basically ran unopposed. Washington ran unopposed both times he ran, and Monroe ran unopposed the second time he ran for a second term. He did not get 100% of the electoral votes, though. One person was a faithless elector and voted for John, who would later become James Monroe's Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. And it's widely believed that that elector, that member of the Electoral College, was not so much a faithless elector, so much as he didn't want James Monroe to do what Washington did. Like, it was believed even at that time that Washington is the only one who should have 100% of the electoral votes in a single election. Yeah. I am, by the way, I said this already, but I am playing Jurassic World Evolution. I am playing Jurassic World Evolution because of dinosaurs. Because no matter what happens tonight, whoever wins this election, and I do think it is anyone's game at this point, they will be the oldest person elected to this office. Donald Trump was already the record breaker last go around, being a little bit older than what Reagan was. And he's 4 years older now, and Biden is, I think he's 6 years older than Trump. I think he's 78. I think he's 78 and Trump is 72. I think that's how things are. Let me tweet this out. Hashtag election 2020 coverage. Hashtag election night. Alright, that should get some people in. I mean, I'm already above average for these streams with 6. Hi, Blade Charge. Nice to see you here. Okay. Now, I haven't heard any of, like, the background noise I have going on. So, I should be good to go. Alright, gonna grab the controller for the first time. So, Jurassic World Evolution. I like this game. I like this game a lot. I've streamed this game numerous times. You will notice that this is not the same map that I usually stream from, because I use my terrible artistic abilities and my knowledge of this game to create my own little map of the United States. Some states look better than others. I think I did a really good job with Missouri. That was actually the first state I built. I think I did a decent job with California, considering I was running to the edge of the map by then. Then other states like, this is supposed to be Michigan. I had no idea how to do Michigan. Because it's got like the two sections. I didn't want to do the two different sections. Oh, New Jersey also looks awful. New Jersey just looks like a circle. Reason why it looks so jank is you have like a minimum how long something can be. Like this little section right here, this is as short as you can possibly make a fence. It has to be at least that. And so it was really hard to get kind of the curvier. So like Ohio was one that was really hard to do. West Virginia, because it has like the slit that cuts up Pennsylvania and Ohio. It's kind of hard to do. Yeah, a lot of them like California, they just kind of ran out of space. In Hawaii, I did Alaska, and then I started doing Hawaii, and I was like, it's gonna run into Alaska, so I had to curve it differently. But you can still tell it's Hawaii. You can tell, other than maybe Michigan, you can tell which states these are. And I put gates on all of them, and I got some ranger teams and the ACU. I got 2 ACU centers. Even though that doesn't look like it helps. So, I made predictions on Twitter. So I am going to go ahead. Hello, that guy. Hello, Inferno R55. Hello, Queen Jess. And hello, Jacob V11. The Queen Jess asked, you want to reveal who you're rooting for? If you follow me on Twitter, that's obvious. I am obviously voting for Kanye. I'm just kidding. He wasn't even on the ballot in Missouri. I thought he would be. I've seen that he is on the ballot in some states. I should. Who did I have? I wanted. There's like 54 dinosaurs. I wanted each one in a different state. Let's go ahead. Start with. Well, let's just go in order. Because it doesn't really matter. I plan. I'll name them accordingly. Dinosaurs and Apatosaurus. Then this one will go with Baryonyx. We'll have Ceratosaurus. We'll have Carnosaurus. And we'll have Triceratopsaurus. And I'll use my notes to, you know, the thing. So what else do I want to do? Now, while those are cooking, again, there's not going to be a whole lot of gameplay in this stream. I turned all the sandbox settings to be the most like passive. Um, so they're not gonna break out. They're not gonna fight. We'll need feeders though. Make sure my stream stays muted. Okay. So I voted straight Republican, which is something I've never done before. Because usually I'll vote for a Democrat here or there. By the way, Minnesota looking fat. Is because I overemphasized this curve right here in Iowa. It ended up making Michigan look really like wider east to west than it should be. I don't know how I would fix that without having to also redo Iowa, the Dakotas, Nebraska, and my precious home state of Missouri. But yeah, so just to give a rundown, I am rooting for Trump and Pence for president and vice president. I am rooting for Governor Mike Parsons, and now this was actually the toughest decision for me, was the governor race in Missouri. Mike Parsons was doing a really good job up until COVID. I think he's done a terrible job with the COVID response. He like Trump wasn't really super wrong about his COVID response, generally speaking, but it's different for every state, and a governor needs to realize that the federal level is not the same as the state level. So when Trump was right about like, yeah, it's not like that super big of a deal, like it's got a very high infection rate, very low mortality rate, Parson took that as, oh, I don't need to do anything. That's not the case. That's why Missouri is still like kind of red in that. And Parsons, he doesn't really have a plan. Like the left has said that like, oh, Trump doesn't have a plan. Trump doesn't have. He does have a plan. He's been executing that plan for the last 6 months. Parsons doesn't have a plan. The only reason why I voted for him is because I think the bigger issue for Missouri as a singular state is infrastructure, and that's where Parsons has been really shining the last few years. And I really like Nicole Galloway. Maybe someday, maybe I'll vote for her if she tries again in 2024. We'll see. Oh yeah, I need to put in water in all these places too.
Acknowledged.
Bleacher says some polls are having Biden win the state even though Trump has more numbers than him. That'll happen because it's too early to actually call, so they're still basing it off of prior numbers. If that makes any sense. Let's add water to all of these. Let's add a bunch of water here. Let's actually add the Mississippi. This might be a kind of a disaster for these smaller enclosures. Oh, Michigan doesn't need any water. I already gave a big, fat look in Lake Michigan.
Asset has been collected.
Yeah, this could be an issue. I didn't think about the water requirements for all these guys. Usually I'm better about that.
Asset delivered.
Okay, that okay, I think I got this. I think I got this. Maybe if I delete these gates. Yeah, it's the gates that are in the way, not the actual fencing. So there just won't be any access to some of these enclosures. I was also want to use kind of the environmental tools to make like this area all desert and the Colorado more rocky. But for now, this no. Closure, food, cardboard feeder. Thank you, Secured, for the $4 donation. Take care and have fun tonight, my dude. Yes, Ruby is coming up. I am kind of dreading it. But what I am not dreading is the breakdown of the Rooster Teeth employees if Trump wins. Speaking of which, it's been a while since I've looked at the coverage, and of course they are in a commercial break. Finally get around to looking at what's going on. And it's a commercial for their own channel. Let's Google. Let's use Google. Let's see how things are going on Google's end. Let's check the House. 2020 House elections. So far, the Republicans are looking like they've won 9 and Democrats 13. It's about where I would predict. Yeah, it's all incumbents winning so far. And you got like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stuff. Is there? Just click on president. So far, Biden is ahead in Florida, looks like, by a few thousand votes. Trump is ahead in Georgia by a significant margin. Trump is ahead in South Carolina by a massive margin. Ahead in North Carolina by triple. Biden is projected the winner in Virginia. Except, yeah, Trump, it's 13% reporting, and Trump has about 100,000 on him. I think I was just taking a shot in the dark based on the insanity that's been going on in Virginia the last year. That prediction might end up being right. Trump is winning in Indiana by a significant margin with 27% reporting. Biden is ahead in Ohio by quite a lot. I wonder how many of that is just the cities counting. Biden is gonna win Vermont. Trump didn't have any ground game there. I don't think he campaigned at all there. Same thing with New Hampshire. I don't see Trump winning New Hampshire at all. But right now it's looking like Trump has 13 and Biden has 16 electoral votes. Yeah, Trump really needs to win Florida. If he loses Florida, he has to pick up some stuff. He has to pick up like Minnesota or Nevada, and Nevada. And Nevada's not worth enough electoral votes to make up for that hefty of a loss. All my dinosaurs are ready, so let's put some of them in. Where was Ceratosaurus going to go? West Virginia. West Virginia for Ceratosaurus. I think Carnotaurus is going to be regular Virginia.
No problem.
Well, Ceratosaurus is in Virginia. Carnotaurus is going to be West Virginia. Barriers. I'm not super fond of the design in this game, but well, I've always had a liking for all dinosaurs, but Baryonyx has always been pretty high up there on the rankings of my favorites. I've always dug them more than Spinosaurus proper. Results for North Carolina are coming in. Trump is ahead by a lot. Nearly 4 times. No, with only 1% reporting though. So dump you.
Picking up asset.
The oldest colony of America. If you've ever watched the movie 1776, it is great. And one of my favorite songs in that movie is The Leaves of Old Virginia, sung by Richard Henry Lee. Let's go ahead and Carnotaurus. I took out all the population and social requirements, so I don't have to worry about that. Also took out all their... Yeah, I don't need any trees. I might put in some trees in some of the bigger states though. Dylan Dockery said Virginia has been called for Biden despite Trump having a 100,000 vote lead and only 13% reporting. Statistics aren't my strong suit, but something seems fishy here. I mentioned this earlier, but Virginia was projected as a safe Democrat. So until we get like past the 50% mark, they're going to call it for Biden. Once we pass the 50% mark, if Trump is still ahead by that big of a margin, they will flip their projection in favor of Trump. This happened in Pennsylvania too, last go around. Pennsylvania was seen as the blue wall, as the super safe Democrat stronghold, and Trump flipped it. This is West Virginia.
Acknowledging asset collection request.
West Virginia, the illegitimate state. I say illegitimate because it never actually did any of the proper legislation to be declared a state. What happened was during the Civil War, Virginia seceded from the Union, but a large chunk of Virginia drew a different border and said we're not going to leave the Union, and that's that. They became West Virginia. Don't know why they decided West Virginia instead of North Virginia when they are kind of northwest. I always
Asset
thought
in
they were more
transit.
north and west. How bad is Twitter right now? Miami-Dade. Biden was overperforming Hillary almost everywhere except for Miami-Dade, and Florida's own state. Yeah. I do predict that even if Biden wins, I have a hard time seeing him take Florida. I did suggest that that is a possibility on Twitter when I did my this is a potential Biden victory map. I did put Florida blue just because I like the idea of Florida being, as Florida goes, so goes the presidency. I like that adage. But Trump put a lot of money in Florida, and he's basically running as a Floridian. Even though he's originally from New York, he's kind of marketed himself as a Florida person. And so he could very well lose tonight, but there's a pretty good chance he keeps Florida. Where's Carcaradox? One of the big ones, I think New York. No, New York is Allosaurus. Washington. Carcaradox is going to Washington. It must be nice. It must be nice to have Washington on your side. I wish I could hear the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome our Carcaradoxosaurus to the park.
Adding to the list.
So, I think most normal people understand that the polls are not accurate. And they are not accurate widely because the people who do the polls are super out of touch with reality. That doesn't mean that they're always going to be wrong, though. I think the polls are off on this one. I don't think they're going to be as off in as they were in 2016. As I said on Twitter, I'm predicting Trump will lose Michigan and maybe lose Pennsylvania, but keep every other state he won and thus winning the presidency. Well, we got more results. Trump just pulled ahead in Florida, 81% reporting, and he is ahead by about 20,000 votes. God, Florida, why do you always make it so squeaky clean or so tight? Joe Biden is ahead in Georgia by about 14,000 votes. They must have just started counting Atlanta. Oh, we just got a lot more. They're calling Kentucky for Trump, Tennessee for Trump, Mississippi for Trump, Alabama, all Oklahoma for Trump, all very safe Trump states. Same thing with Indiana and West Virginia. And polls just closed here in the Central Time Zone. So Illinois is the only solid blue state in this area. So they're already calling it for Joe Biden, even though none of the votes have been counted yet. Joe Biden is still winning by a significant margin in Ohio with 30% reporting. That could be bad. That could be bad for Trump. I don't know why Pennsylvania hasn't called in yet. In New York. Is their polls just closed later? Yeah, things are neck and neck in Texas. Texas a lot more purple than anyone really ever gives it credit for. A lot of major cities in Texas. You got Houston, Dallas, Austin, El Paso. Those are all very big liberal strongholds. There's just a greater proportion of rural conservative areas across that state, and it's such a massive state. They're not as centralized in the cities as much as, say, California or New York. Yeah, last Democrat to win Texas was Lyndon B. Johnson, who also had the home state advantage in 64 seats from Texas. Yeah, there's been plenty of Democrat governors and senators and House members coming out of Texas. Like, it's not that outside the realm of possibility of a good, strong Democrat candidate flipping it. I just don't think that person is Biden. I don't think he's going to be able to maintain. He just pulled ahead in Texas. He's still ahead in Georgia by... It tightened up. There's only 9,000 difference now. Biden also pulled ahead in Virginia. Oh, wait, no he didn't. Trump is still beating him up there. But all the New England states are starting to file in. He's gonna win New Hampshire. He's gonna win all these. I don't see a possibility for Trump ever winning Maryland, Biden's home state of Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont. Yeah, Razorfist started his stream. Blade Charge donated $5. Thank you very much. How much of a chance do you think Trump has of winning? I'd say, in my gut, I think like 70% chance of winning. General elections are best spoken generally, and generally speaking, Trump has just had a better campaign. He's had more stops, he's done more rallies. Biden can barely fill a town hall. Trump is selling out stadiums. I think that's going to be reflected once we start getting stuff from Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, as well as Pennsylvania. Trump just pulled ahead in Florida again. He is up by 30,000 votes with 82% reporting. So they're talking about Florida right now.
You can say, well, all of this other stuff makes you think you should do well in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. For what it's worth.
Let's bring in Casey into this conversation because, Casey, one of the criticisms of the Biden campaign, and some of it was loud down in Florida from Biden supporters, was that he was not doing enough to get out the Latino vote in South Florida. We mentioned the Venezuelan Americans, the Cuban Americans, and it seems like that is coming to pass in Miami-Dade.
Yeah, that's a very important point. The Latino vote, despite, the media's calls of racism about the wall and stuff, legal immigrants are slant conservative. They're not like super conservatives. None of them all are. They're a lot more moderate. But you get people coming up from Venezuela. They don't like the Democrat Party. You have people coming in Florida from Cuba. It's a large part of their population. They don't like Biden. They don't like Biden. They don't like Bernie. They're going to vote for Trump. And they're going to vote for Trump in in numbers that we haven't seen a Republican pull. This helped,
Confirming task.
stuff like this helped Trump edge out in Michigan and Pennsylvania as well in 2016. Was, you know, Hillary Clinton completely cleaned his clock on the black vote, but Trump did a lot better in the black vote than McCain or Romney did, and that's all it took to put him over the edge in places like Pennsylvania and Michigan especially. And yeah, because Florida is a very unique state, but the fact that, like, whoever does well there, they tend to do pretty well in Ohio and Michigan as well. And if he can maintain those, it's over for Biden.
Collecting
Unless
asset.
Biden can pull a miracle and win, like, Texas or something. Yeah, the little bump Biden got from all the cities counting their votes, it's starting to dwindle now. Now that we're getting the rural votes starting to pour in from Texas. Yeah. Oh my God. If Trump wins Florida, or if Trump wins Virginia,
Assets in the air.
I am going to be so ecstatic. I have friends from Virginia. Those familiar with my channel, No Coop. He's from Virginia. If you're regular on the Discord, you probably know Retro. He's from the Virginia area. I think he's actually West Virginia. But they were all telling me, like, I don't know, man. I don't see what you're seeing with Virginia going red. People in Virginia are dumb. They elected Northam. But I was just like, telling you, man. I'm telling you, like I told everyone in 2016 with Michigan. I predicted Trump would lose in 2016. I thought Hillary Clinton was going to blow him out. But I thought, even when I thought that, I just had it in my gut that Trump was going to win Michigan. I thought that was the only state he was going to flip compared to Romney in relation to the 2012 election. I thought he was going to get every state Romney did and also pick up Michigan. I thought that was going to be the end of it. He ended up doing a lot better than that. He also picked up Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And Kansas started to come in. Trump has a double-digit lead. 1% reporting, though. Michigan votes coming in. The lead is still tightening in Texas. So, yeah, it is now 100,000 point difference, or 100,000 vote difference. Pennsylvania is starting to come in. Biden is ahead by, they must have started counting like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia first. Trump is ahead in Georgia, about 20,000. He's ahead in Florida by, looked like he was ahead by 1 million. No, he's actually only ahead by less than 100,000. 4.988 million versus 5.138 million. Also, it is important to note that we will likely not have a winner declared tonight. Biden has already said that he will not concede tonight at all. He is going to wait for all those mail-in ballots that may or may not be fraudulent in Pennsylvania. I've seen a lot of stuff coming from Pennsylvania that does not look good for anyone. You know, it makes the Democrats look bad by looking so bad for Trump. You know, poll watchers being turned away, signs promoting Biden and Harris, voter intimidation, voter, just
Asset collection request
not good
received.
stuff. Joe Biden just pulled ahead in Kansas. That won't last. Trump just pulled ahead in Georgia, so by about 30,000. He is increasing the lead in Florida. It's about the same in Pennsylvania. About 300,000 vote difference in Ohio. 10,000 vote difference in Michigan. What's this notification? Yeah, right now, they's not really looking good for, except that he's winning in Virginia by so much right now. I know Richmond and Virginia Beach, those are really massive cities. I don't know if those are being counted yet, or if those are reporting yet. And just click back there, they're still talking about Florida. When they stop talking about Florida, yeah, Trump is projected to win Tennessee, to no one's surprise. I'm gonna laugh if he wins the popular vote. If Trump wins the popular vote, all bets are off for me. Coop just posted a meme. The meme where Virginia supposedly is 58% Trump. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. The Richard's like, it's on 20% reporting to God, please. The polls were closed in Missouri. Why aren't they reporting results yet? Oh, Alice, Big Al here doesn't have a feeder. I'm getting hungry. One of my favorite dinosaurs, Allosaurus. I have a toy of him on my little two stacked up cardboard boxes I'm calling a shelf right now until I get some actual furniture in this place. Oh, I'm 270. See what this is. This is what the current, like, if this is all the votes that are getting reported from these states, what it would be. Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky. We'll have 132. Oh, and Oklahoma. Biden with Texas, Kansas. Even though that lead will not hold. Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Let me just check these real quick. These are also just projected. And look, there's some hamburgers. Yeah, Trump maintains his lead in the states where he's leading right now. Yeah, he really needs to keep Texas. He really needs to pull ahead in Texas, and he's only down by 10,000 votes. So I just did a little projection. He maintains his lead in all the states that he's leading, aside from Texas. If they both maintain their leads in everywhere except Texas, whoever wins Texas wins the presidency. They maintain the leads in the states that are counted. Ooh, he's up in Maine. Let's get it. There's another 4-point advantage. I don't think Maine's gonna go for him. I don't think Maine's gonna swing that far. He might get that district that he won last time. He might do that. That's within the realm of possibility. But I don't think he's walking away with Maine. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Could be wrong though. You never know. The polls today are the only polls that matter. So all the other ones are out of touch. Ankylosaurus is going to Arizona. Another one of my favorite dinosaurs. I think originating because of Walking with Dinosaurs. Walking with Dinosaurs, Ankylosaurus.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Beat up T-Rex. I'm liking the increasingly comfortable lead he's building in Florida. And he's about 6,000 difference in Texas. Trump wins Texas, and that ends up being like a deciding factor. Like, oh man, if Biden won Texas, he would have won. I'm gonna take screen caps of all the Rooster Teeth dumbasses and just revel in it.
Asset to be collected.
Late charge asks, cities are counted first, right? It really depends. So in some states, yeah, in some states, no. It really just depends on the city, depends on the state. Trump just pulled ahead in Texas. He is now ahead. Oh man, they must have just gotten a couple counties called in because he was, just a few minutes ago, he was down by 10,000. Now he's up by 40,000. That's really good for him. That's really good. If he can maintain, Oh, and he just pulled ahead in Michigan. Oh, if he keeps that, he wins. On Biden, I spoke too soon. Biden just pulled ahead again. Only by, that looks about 100,000. But he's ahead in Michigan by 15,000. It's only 1% reporting. And Missouri is finally reporting in Trump with a comfortable 12,000 vote lead at the moment, 2% reporting. By the way, the percentage is not really in proportion to the votes. That's the amount of precincts. So that's the amount of voting locations that have reported their results. Anyways, I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about. I already talked about the governorship. I do like Nicole Galloway. But there are two amendments on this ballot. I voted yes on both of them. One of them restricts campaign donations, and the other puts term limits on lieutenant governor, and I think the secretary of state. And those are things that I am in favor of. That guy asked, how big of an impact will mail-in voting have? I think we're already seeing that impact, honestly. I don't think in the coming days it'll have that much of an impact. I think there's only a few thousand left that need to be counted. Most of them have already been counted. I think that's why Biden is doing so well in Texas, because Biden has been talking about vote early, vote often for weeks now. For weeks, he's been kind of the champion of get out there and vote, go in early, whether it's in person, get a mail-in ballot. He's been the one championing that cause, whereas Trump for a long time was like, no, wait until election day. So a lot of, and I think it's something like 30% of the projected votes are mail-in. So for instance, like Joe Biden with this 2.6 million votes in Texas, at least 30% of those are mail-in that were already counted early. And as precincts call in, as more towns and rural areas and small suburbs, as they start counting their votes and they finish counting their votes, Trump is going to close the gap in some places. And Biden is going to close the gap in places like Georgia, where Trump is ahead by 200,000 votes, or by more like 110,000 votes. Who is that little help? Oh, you don't have food. I am a bad park owner. Where was Parasaurus going to go? Should have said that before I released him. One of the western states that has a lot of land. Wyoming. We're going to Wyoming, good sir.
Request acknowledged.
And I'm going to make sure you have food. Like the last guy. right now, I think Trump is underperforming in Ohio, but overperforming in Florida and Virginia. Oh my God. Only 31% reporting, but Trump is ahead by 300,000. Again, I really hope he maintains that lead in Virginia. I'm really pulling for him there.
Heading to pick up the asset.
Let's see what NBC is talking about. And they're on commercial. Mitch McConnell expected to win Kentucky Senate race. Good. Let's switch away from the president. Let's look at the Senate races. John Cornyn is ahead in Texas. David Perdue
Commencing asset transit.
and Kelly Loeffler are ahead in Georgia. That's a good indication that Trump is going to end up winning Georgia. Now, in the Senate race, there's not as many third parties to distract from votes. So we're going to have... This is why I think House and Senate races are going to be a lot better indicator. Because third parties don't get as much attention in those races as they do in the presidential race. Where it's like, oh man, I don't like Trump or Biden. I'm going to just vote for this Joe Jorgensen person. Senate and House races, they don't really have that going for them. John James is ahead in Michigan by quite the margin. And Daniel Gate is ahead by a significant margin in Virginia. But looks like...
Confirming asset delivery.
Ooh, Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison are neck and neck. Tommy Tuberville is behind Doug Jones. I think Tuberville will pull that out. I'm honestly expecting a pretty clean sweep from Republican senators. Especially those that are running against Democrat incumbents. I think they're going to do very well. Right now, Republicans have 29 seats projected, and Democrats 27. Or I think that's not projected, that's confirmed. Or called. They're called. Like, yeah, 13 in Florida versus 11. 2-1 in Alabama. 4-3 in the Democrats' favor in Ohio. Those are House races. Still ahead in Maine. Still ahead in Indiana. Still ahead by a lot in Virginia. North Carolina is neck and neck, pretty much. Same thing with Texas. Missouri, he's winning pretty handedly. And all good, except Texas. He really needs to get Texas. Lightning in my hand asked, to answer your question, yes, they are. In fact, shaped like the USA. I think the last one I had was Carcharodontosaurus. So let's get the next batch ready up. Camarasaurus. Brachiosaurus. Chasmosaurus, and Chickendosaurus. here. Copy. Brachiosaurus. Dynamites. And Dilophosaurus. Got 12 people watching now. Colin Moore stated called Arkansas for Trump. It's projected to win there. Guess Missouri, they just want to be a little more sure. Copy is ready. Now remember, copy is going to go. Y is tiny.
Adding task.
This is tall as the blades of grass. And he speaks too. He's so small that like the camera won't like get to his actual level. So I was looking down on him. Poor guy. Mississippi and Alabama projected to be easy. Trump wins. Georgia, he's only increasing his lead in Georgia as it goes on. And he's further increasing his lead in Florida. I ain't gonna call it until they do, but I think we might be looking at a second Trump term. I really do.
Asset requiring collection.
I'm gonna get rid of some of this water. I went overboard with it.